So in this video, we're going to look at two things. We're going to look at matrix, adding and subtracting, and we're going to look at something called scalar multiplication. They're both very easy. So for adding and subtracting matrices, you literally just add or subtract the corresponding numbers in each row and column. So one thing that has to be true, the dimensions have to be the same. So like here, you'll notice both of those are 2 by 2 matrices. You won't be able to subtract or add them unless the dimensions are exactly the same. Okay, so like I said, to actually do the operations, what they did was they did 2 plus 1, and that gave them 3. They did -3 plus 1, and that gave them -2. And you just do that for each of the corresponding cells. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, I think. Okay, but the rows and columns, the dimensions have to be the same. Okay, down here at example 2, they give us this situation. There's two separate stores, one in Vancouver and one in Quebec. What they're doing is they've taken note of each store's sales for certain items in the month of January and in the month of February. Okay, so the table just represents this information. All right, so in January, Vancouver sold 20 wiper blades and Quebec sold 15. So what they're going to do here, well, actually, I guess I should show the question first. The question is, use matrix arithmetic to calculate the change in sales of each product in each store from January to February. And so, typically you wouldn't do operations or addition or subtraction with, tables, but what they do is they rewrite the information so that it represents, or so that a matrix can represent the situation. So, this first column here still represents Vancouver sales for the month of January. All right, Vancouver sales for the month of January, 2010 and 8. All right, the question was, so use matrix arithmetic to calculate the change in sales of each product in each store from January to February. So to do this, they're just going to subtract, the matrix for February and the matrix for January. Okay, so they set them up, that one goes there, this one they put there, and they just subtract it straight across. All right, 4 minus 8 was -4. So that tells us that, if you were comparing February to January, there would actually be a negative result for floor mats for the Vancouver store. All right, that's what that -4 represents. That basically means that February was not as good of a month for floor mats. All right. If it's positive, that means that February was a better month. Anyway, scalar multiplication. Okay, so instead of adding a matrix to itself several times, they have these scalars. And just think of it as a way of scaling something up, scaling information up. So basically, you're taking a matrix, and this number out here is your scalar. There's a lot more to talk about with scalars, but this is like the simplest scalar. We're going to take that number 6, and we're just going to multiply it through. We're going to distribute it to all 6 of these numbers on the inside. And that's what you get as a result. Okay? So if you did, 6 times -3, that's going to give you -18. If you do 6 times 5/6, that's going to give you 5. Okay? That's all scalar multiplication is. You're just taking a number on the outside and distributing it inside. All right, so let's look at example 3 here. The revenue generated by sales in the Vancouver and Quebec branches was as follows. Okay, so this is how much money they had gained in the month of January. All right, so wiper blades, Vancouver store gained $140. Washer fluid, they gained $30. Okay, and down here they have that represented in matrix form. Okay. Oh, did I miss the question? There we go. Here's the question. If the Canadian dollar was worth 65 cents of a US dollar at the time, compute the revenue in US dollars. So this is that table of information for the Canada store for how much they earned on each one of those. But they're wanting us to find out how much is that in US dollars. So they're going to take each of these amounts, each of these elements here, and they're just going to multiply it by 0.65. Okay. And when you distribute that into all those, this is what you get. So what this means is that if you were talking US money, they only gained $91 in the month of January in wiper blades. I believe that was that first column. Yeah. And the Quebec store only gained $68.25 worth. So hopefully that gives you an idea for what scalar multiplication is and how easy it is. It's super easy. Sorry, I was just looking through some of these other ones. All right, we'll see you later.